All right, guys. So I wanted to check out a review for Rise of the Ronin. I actually just beat this on my channel. I'm jumping into midnight mode on my own time and doing all the side stuff I missed. I really enjoyed it. I was always a Team Ninja since I was a kid. With Ninja Gaiden. One of my favorites is Neo 1 and 2, and I did love Wulong. This game I thought was a solid 8 out of 10. Now, I avoided the reviews for some time because I like to make my own personal opinion. I mean, a lot of people will trash games that I wind up liking. So I thought I'd pick this one up in Dragon's Dogma. I played a little bit of Dragon's Dogma 2. I do like that because I did play part 1 also. But Team Ninja always had a space in my heart. So I thought I'd check this review out because I wanted to see what people are bashing about. I know the graphics ain't what they could be, but the game overall, to me, in my opinion, is a lot of fun. If people would ask me, a lot of people on my channel ask me if I recommend it, I do. If you don't have the money right now, I would hold off a little bit. But I honestly think you'd have a good time. And it gives an option to have it actually easier mode. So people who are not used to playing like Neo and Wulong, even like kind of like Dark Souls games, you have a way to ease into this kind of genre. But I wanted to see what they're saying about the review. So I'm just curious. Let's see. This one is, I sadly don't recommend Rise of the Ronin. Let's see.
I sadly cannot recommend Rise of the Ronin, and I say sadly because I wanted this to be great. This game has everything I'm looking for in a title: a big open world in a really interesting setting, melee combat with ranged and stealth options, a lot of loot with pretty cool outfits and weapons you can find, but it's all part of a very incoherent package with a story and characters that do not make sense. Yes, there are insane difficulty spikes that become frustrating, and performance and fidelity is just not acceptable in 2024. It's kind of baffling that this is a PlayStation 5 exclusive. Rise of the Ronin is at its best when it's just you and an opponent in a one-on-one duel. You can very easily learn the moves, predict what the enemy will do next, and counter accordingly. That's why I really enjoy the dojos you can
I love the
find in
dojos,
world,
guys.
where you can train with your companions, but this is just one of the activities in the open world. And the sad part is that after exploring the open world for like 2 hours, you will have experienced everything it has to offer. Not because it's small, it's actually quite sizable with new regions that unlock later in the main story, but it's full of the same icons. Photo challenges, where you have to take a picture of something, cats that you have to pet.
I actually love that. I actually love petting the cats.
That just give you a skill point, and bandit camps that can have special wanted enemies as well, that can sometimes give you new stances for weapons. There are luckily some side quests as well, but still, after doing these open world activities a few times, the enjoyment kinda wears off, as the game does not try its best to make them feel different from the Lost. And what also does not help is that the loot gets less interesting the further you get into the game. Now, there's a lot of it, and it's cool that you have both Japanese but also Western outfits. There are a ton of ways to dress your character, and the transmog system lets you all.
Guys, I kind of agree with that. Like, after a certain point in the game, like, the perks didn't really matter. I was just dressing my character to look cool or to look funny, but it really didn't matter to me. That didn't really bug me.
Always look the way you want while keeping the best stats. But after some time, I noticed that the stats are basically meaningless, as even later on in the game, they include very small percentage increases. So at one point, I did not really care anymore and was just equipping the item with the highest attack or defense number, which makes finding new loot way less exciting. Also, finding new weapons loses its charm after you found every weapon type, which also happens early. Yes, they all play very different, which is nice, but after finding your favorite, there's really no reason to switch to a different weapon.
I was switching back and forth.
Stances, so you can easily counter every enemy, meaning that you can just stick to your preferred playstyle for the full game and be successful. Although, don't expect this game to be a walk in the park. It's kind of...
Guys, I kind of disagree with that. I was switching weapons back and forth. You could feel the difference with each weapon. So that part I kind of don't agree with. I was switching back between a katana and a dual swords because I was a dex build, actually. But let me see what else he has to say.
To see the developer, Team Ninja, includes many things to make this more accessible for people who are not into the Souls-like titles they usually make, like
what I was saying.
And Wola,
yeah.
But completely throw that overboard by introducing some insane main story bosses that feel way more challenging than anything you've encountered before that point. Still, I want to applaud them for letting us save the game everywhere in the open world, for not punishing us as much for dying. You lose your karma currency, but can very easily get that that back from the enemy that killed you. And even if you fail to do that, it won't be much of a loss, as you can very easily convert the karma to a skill point before any major combat encounter. The fact that you basically run around in a team of 3 during the main mission works great, so the enemies divide their attention. Also, if you fall, you will just switch to a different
I was switching back and forth between them.
Easily revive your fallen party members. And even in the open world, where you are mostly solo, you can still find prisoners based on other people's character that will then help you complete the bandit camp. But all this effort goes to waste if the game still expects you to beat insanely difficult bosses in order to advance the main story. There's one fight relatively early on that requires you to parry like...
Guys, I had to stop it here again. There was no boss that was extremely hard on this game. I was maybe stuck on one boss, maybe 15 minutes. Nothing even close. Maybe because Neo was one of the first games I played, or Neo 2. I got more stuck in there, I felt like. But this, even when they brought out the second boss, when they would team up, your computer would focus on one and you focus on the other, and you could take them down quick with the parrying. The parrying was a little funny in this game. It wasn't as great as like Sekiro or, let's say, Wulong. Like with the timing wasn't like crisp. That's the only thing I felt in this game. But I didn't think there was no insanely hard bosses at all in this game. At all.
Like Sekiro before you stand a chance. Not to mention the duo bosses that you encounter later on. I don't want to show them for spoiler reasons, but imagine finally beating that challenging boss only to find out that you have to fight it again in the next mission.
I hated that guy with the shield.
But then with another
foreign swordsman. Oh my god.
At the same time. Now luckily there are 3 difficulty options: easy, normal, and hard. And going from normal to easy makes the game very manageable. So you can always do that to get past an annoying encounter if you are stuck for an hour, but that should never be the solution. And it really brings me to my main critique with this game. It just overall really lacks a focus. It's multiple ideas smacked together without a clear vision, with everything bringing another element down. One of the best examples of this are the main missions, as these are completely separate from the open world and all take place in an instanced area. How it mostly goes is that you talk to an NPC, move on to the preparation screen, and then load into this small level. Now the environments for these missions are all varied, but that's sadly where the excitement stops, because it's always the same structure. Kill every enemy you see, including optional mini-bosses for an extra reward, and fight a big boss at the end.
That's what Ninja Gaiden is.
Where they say don't actually kill the enemies, so
Team
they
Ninja,
have to go unarmed and knock them out, but apart from that, it's all the same. And this does not only make the game very predictable, but it also really hurts the story. I of course don't want to share any story
the Crusher was easy.
But the weirdest things happen during these main missions. Like for one, they are dead set on having a big boss at the end for every main mission. Maybe it's
I love that. I don't know about you guys.
In a second. I don't know. Again, multiple ideas smacked together. Like, this really hurts the overall narrative, because again, they have to have a boss, so they will often pit you against allies in the strangest situations. So in one mission in chapter 1, you have to find someone to tell them their friend is captured. So after taking out random bandits in the area, you find this person, but instead of telling them the news, you first have to go and fight this character with lethal weapons, beat him like he should be dead after this fight, but instead you start...
Guys, that's one thing I didn't get. I'm like, I just killed this guy, and then 5 seconds later, you're talking to him like nothing happened. You just stabbed him through the chest, and it was like nothing happened. That was kind of crazy. I mean, it's a video game, though. Come on.
Start a casual conversation about his captured friends, as if this brutal battle never happened. And stuff like this happens way too often. Even characters you choose as a companion in one mission are out of nowhere the final boss of the next main quest. Like, it's really hard for me to care about any of these allies or the story in general if you know that at any moment you might fight the character you were just having fun with for no reason, and then in the next conversation or cutscene they won't even mention it. So I really at one point just could not find a good reason to play anymore. You also midway through the game get access to all the important skills, so all the unlocks that are left are just percentage increases. So just like with the loot, there's nothing exciting to look forward to in terms of progression.
I mean, I was dipping into other things like strength.
Poorly written dialogue, uninteresting characters, and overall lack of big set piece moments does not grab you then what else is here? Because the graphics and the world will also not keep you around. Sure, it's cool that NPCs will run and protect themselves when it's raining. Some areas, thanks to the Japanese aesthetic, look pretty awesome, but that is really everything positive I can
I think that was
say
Pleasure
about the game's
District.
visuals. It's pretty wild. With the game looking this bad in 2024, I also
That's the
had
spot right
performance
there.
issues where the frame rate would take a big hit. Now it is worth noting that I mostly played without the day one patch, and I tried to go back to some areas where I had the issues after installing this new update. And
I never had an
does
issue,
seem
guys.
to run and look a bit better, so that is great. But I of course could not go back to all the parts where I had issues, so I still wanted to note that. And how they kind of improved the game with this update is by removing even more people from the already.
Just one thing, guys. I did have the game early because I picked it up in the store. They were actually selling it early, so I actually had it before day one. But the horse animation was a little crazy for me. I don't know what they did with the horse. He looked, I don't know. It looked crazy.
Very empty streets. Shadows pop in and out. After I got a faster horse, I especially noticed that the draw distance is really bad.
Like his legs are like
NPCs
out.
appearing right in front of your eyes. Again, it already looks like a very old school title, and they could not even get it to run properly on PlayStation 5. Now the load times are super fast, which is great, just like the DualSense features are nice, but you expect more polish from a Sony published product, not to mention the very old school open world glitches that I encountered, where my horse
I had
spawn in
absolutely
the
no
water, so it could
glitches.
not reach me. The AI will get stuck often or does not see you when you are fighting one of their friends very close to them. It just all does not work great. Now the co-op is kind of fun. You can pretty easily invite a friend or two and then select one of.
Guys, so on that topic, when he was talking about the AI, honestly, like when you're doing stealth, they were kind of stupid. Like you could kind of walk in front of them where you're in their field of vision and they wouldn't see you. So that I kind of see, because I was just walking in front of them. I thought I was gonna get caught and just turn around and go behind them, and you could stealth them. That was a little weak, I won't lie there. But other than that, I didn't have no issues as far as glitches.
No issues while playing. It can still be challenging doing this together. And after a mission, you remain in the lobby, and the load times are once again very quick. So you're in and out. But it's still far from perfect. You can namely only play a new mission in co-op if the other person is also at that point in the story or has already completed it. But
I played a single player.
You have to do a lot of solo things in the open world first to get to a new main mission. It's super annoying to play the full game together. So co-op is mostly replaying old missions you've both already completed. And again, these missions are basically all the same. Kill the enemies and then the boss at the end, which takes like 15 minutes max. So it can get repetitive quite fast. And also the rewards aren't that enticing to keep going either. Like it would.
But wasn't that always like in Team Ninja games? Go through the level, kill enemies, get to the boss. That was like a Neo. Wulong. And if I remember correctly, because it's been a long time since I played Ninja Gaiden, but same in Ninja Gaiden. Like you go kill the demons in Neo, and there'd be a big boss at the end.
It would have been way cooler if you could actually explore the open world together, but that's not possible.
I get what he's saying.
This game has so many systems and ideas, but they just don't work together. You can form a bond with almost every character you meet, which can give you some nice rewards, but there are just too many of these characters, and leveling the bond does not go that fast. So I'm not really enticed to chase this. I also got to try that wanted system I told you about in the preview, and it's sadly not that exciting.
Oh, I didn't even try this actually.
Creepers will just spawn. They will increase in level over time until you.
I was just scaring people in town with my swords. That was about it.
These enemies don't even look that cool either. Everything combined just makes this a game that I sadly cannot recommend to you. It really sucks to say because on paper it had a ton of potential, but it would have been way better if they focused on half of what they offer now and made sure that those things at least hit. But no, now we get a package without any substance, without anything that makes me say, whoa, you need to see this for yourself. This would have been the perfect game to hold us over till Assassin's Creed Red or Ghost of Tsushima 2, but you can
I haven't played Assassin's Creed in a while.
Titles or buy Dragon's Dogma 2, because that game
Dragon's
does
Dogma's
do a
fun.
lot of interesting things. A review for that game in the pinned comments. Got any questions about the game? Drop them down below, and you can watch a Rise of the Ronin
I love that dog.
if you need to see more by clicking on the screen. A like would really help me out, and I will speak.
All right, guys. So that is Raptor's opinion on this game. He don't recommend it. I'm going to go with my opinion. I do recommend it. I think a lot of people got confused. It was going to be another Ghost of Tsushima. And when they started playing it, maybe it was too hard for them, or you know, the graphics weren't up to par. It wasn't what they were expecting, because I think they were expecting that more so. Because I know a lot of people, when they got the game, my friends were like, "Oh shit, this is kind of hard. It's not like Ghost." Even kind of like with Elden Ring, everybody picked up Elden Ring not knowing it was a From Software game, thinking it was just to be like some amazing open world game, not knowing it was that hard. People I know were returning the game because oh, it's so hard. I'm like, yo, it's From Software. What do you expect? That's how they always are. My opinion, guys, I definitely recommend this. For me, it was a solid 8.5 out of 10. I really enjoyed it. Maybe because I'm biased because of Team Ninja, but I really enjoyed it. Combat was amazing. I never found the boss super hard. I'm even doing it on midnight mode off air, and I'm enjoying it. So I'm gonna probably try to go 100% it. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. I'm kind of curious. Did you pick this one up? Are you waiting on it, waiting for a sale? Or are you a big Team Ninja fan like myself? Let me know in the comments down below. Kind of curious. Me, again, I would recommend this. And I recommend Dragon's Dogma. I don't even know, honestly, if it got a lot of split ends, because like certain people picked Dragon's Dogma and then certain people picked Rise. But I know it was the end of fiscal year for them, so that's why they dropped it on the same day. All right, guys, that's it for me. Rise of Ronin, I say pick it up. That's my recommendation. Catch you later.